Nigeria enforces internet code to protect users and open access. Mozambique begins drafting national digital transformation strategy. Away from Africa, French police raid Arab World Institute as Epstein investigation expands. And still away from Africa, India seizes 3 Iran-linked sanctioned tanker intensifies maritime patrols. In business, UBA launches Diaspora platform to connect Africans globally with investment opportunities, and in health, African leaders rally new malaria funding at AU Summit. Sports, Nigeria Olympic Committee praises Tinubu's vision for sport. And still in sport, Iran in talks with Nigeria over World Cup warm-up friendly. And now, the news in full. Nigeria has pledged comprehensive support to the Combined Maritime Task Force in the Gulf of Guinea, committing office buildings, ships, helicopters, and temporary personnel to ensure the force's operational effectiveness. The announcement was made by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, representing President Bola Tinubu at the 39th African Union Heads of State and Government Assembly. As host nation of the task force headquarters, Nigeria aims to strengthen regional maritime security and combat transnational organized crimes. Shettima also called for a coordinated African approach to security threats, mineral exploitation, and debt challenges facing the continent. The Vice President highlighted progress on the African Standby Force and stressed the need to accelerate the implementation of agreements between the African Union Commission and regional economic communities. He further urged efforts to activate the African Court of Justice and advance the ratification of the African Parliament Protocol. Tunisia is set to accelerate the digital transformation of its public sector with the launch of 192 projects beginning in 2026. Officials announced the initiative following a cabinet meeting on February 13 at the Kasbah Palace, highlighting plans to expand online services, generalize electronic payment, and ensure interoperability among government institutions under the 2026 to 2030 development plan. Prime Minister Sarah Zafrani Zenzri emphasized that digital transformation is a key pillar of the state's economic and social program. Authorities say the project will streamline administrative procedures, improve transparency, and reduce processing times, and enhance the country's attractiveness for investment, while also supporting efforts to combat corruption and informal practices. Several initiatives were already underway by the end of 2025, including a unified portal for administrative services, digital hospital programs, electronic tax stamps, and online platforms for permit and administrative procedures. With internet penetration at 84% and mobile connections exceeding 125% of the population, the government expects strong citizen adoption, reinforced by cybersecurity measures and a national communication strategy. Nigeria has reinforced the protection of open internet access and user rights with the Internet Code of Practice issued by the Nigerian Communications Commission. The code, which governs all licensed internet access service providers nationwide, sets clear rules for traffic management, safeguards personal data, and ensures the protection of minors online. Under the code, consumers have the right to access lawful content and use devices of their choice, while service providers are prohibited from blocking, thwarting, or prioritizing internet traffic unfairly. Zero rating programs may be permitted only with prior approval, and service providers must disclose network performance and commercial terms to maintain transparency. The code also mandates strict privacy protections, including timely breach notifications, and requires providers to implement child protection policies. Unlawful content must be removed within 24 hours of notification, and compliance is monitored through the NCC Consumer Portal. The framework aims to guarantee fair, safe, and transparent internet services for all users in Nigeria. Still in Africa news, Mozambique has launched the process to draft a national digital transformation strategy aimed at expanding ICT access and promoting inclusive economic growth. Authorities announced the initiative during the National Conference on Digital Transformation held on the 11th and 12th of February, highlighting the country's efforts to leverage its geographic, energy, and demographic potential through public digital infrastructure. The strategy will involve national and regional consultations to define a clear vision, strategic objectives, action plans, and performance indicators, alongside governance and monitoring mechanisms. Officials say the goal is to mobilize investment and international support, positioning digitalization as a key driver of economic transformation, social inclusion, and infrastructure development. The move comes amid a significant digital gap in Mozambique, where around 80% of the population remained offline in 2024. Mobile penetration reached nearly 80%, but mobile internet access stood at just over 20%. The country ranked 177th out of 193 in the 2024 United Nations E-Government Development Index, underscoring the need for accelerated digital adoption and improved cybersecurity frameworks. We're going on a quick break now. The news continues when we return. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Idea TV News Update. Now the rest of the news. Away from Africa, French police have raided the Arab World Institute in Paris as part of an expanding investigation linked to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. Prosecutors confirmed that the search forms part of a probe into the institute's former head as ex-culture minister Jack Lang and his alleged financial links to Epstein. The operation was conducted under the authority of France's National Financial Prosecutor. The investigation follows the recent release of the document in the United States related to Epstein. The French prosecutors have opened a preliminary inquiry into Lang and his daughter on suspicion of tax fraud. Lang, who led the institute since 2013, resigned earlier this month and has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes or receiving financial benefits. His lawyer has stated that there was no movement of funds. Authorities have also established a dedicated team to review the newly released Epstein files, examining potential cases that may involve French nationals. Among those mentioned in the broader inquiry is a former French diplomat accused of transferring United Nations documents to Epstein, an allegation he has denied. Prosecutors say investigations are ongoing as the fallout from the Epstein case continues to reverberate across Europe. Still away from Africa, India has seized 3 United States sanctioned oil tankers linked to Iran and stepped up maritime surveillance in its waters. The vessels Stella Ruby, Asfat Star, and Al Javzia were intercepted earlier this month about 100 nautical miles west of Mumbai and escorted to port for investigation. Authorities say the ships repeatedly changed their identities to evade detection. The action comes as India moves to prevent its maritime zone from being used for illicit ship-to-ship oil transfers designed to conceal the origin of cargo. 2 of the tankers are reportedly connected to Iranian oil shipments, which are under United States sanctions. Officials say the seizures are part of efforts to enforce international compliance and safeguard India's exclusive economic zone. In response, the Indian Coast Guard has deployed 55 ships and up to 12 aircraft for round-the-clock monitoring of its waters. The development follows improved trade ties between New Delhi and Washington amid broader efforts to curb sanctioned oil movement across regional shipping routes. In business news now, United Bank for Africa (UBA) has unveiled a comprehensive diaspora banking and investment platform designed to connect Africans worldwide with structured wealth building opportunities. The platform, launched at UBA House Marina in Lagos on Thursday, moves beyond traditional remittances to provide access to banking, payments, investment, real estate, pensions, insurance, and healthcare. Developed in partnership with United Capital Africa Prudential, UBA Pensions, Afriland Properties, Health Insurance Groups, and Avon Healthcare, the platform offers a single, trusted ecosystem for managing financial commitments across borders with transparency and professional governance. UBA officials noted that diaspora remittance flows exceed $100 billion annually, representing a resilient source of capital for Africa. The initiative reflects UBA's Afri-capitalism philosophy, emphasizing long-term investments that generate both economic returns and social impact. Partners highlighted services including globally accessible investment products, structured real estate pathways, insurance solutions, digital pension management, and cross-border healthcare access, providing diaspora Africans with secure and professionally managed opportunities to invest back into the continent. Now in health news, African heads of state and government have called for a new era of malaria financing at the 39th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Leaders warned that stalled progress, declining international support, and emerging threats could reverse decades of gains. The 2025 Malaria Progress Report presented by Botswana's President and African Leaders Malaria Alliance Chair, Advocate Duma Boko, showed that Africa accounted for about 96% of global malaria cases and 97% of deaths in 2024, with children under 5 most affected. According to the World Health Organization, the African region continues to carry the heaviest malaria burden worldwide. Leaders cautioned that a 30% funding cut could lead to hundreds of millions for additional cases, nearly 400,000 more deaths, and significant economic losses by 2030. They stressed that only 5 countries have met the African Union's 2025 malaria reduction targets, underscoring the urgency for renewed investment and coordinated action. In response, member states pledged stronger domestic resource mobilization, innovative financing, and expanded public-private partnership. Leaders also urged global partners to renew support mechanisms, including the World Bank's Malaria Booster Program, while accelerating the rollout of next-generation mosquito nets, vaccines, and locally manufactured treatments. They maintained that sustained investment in malaria elimination would strengthen primary healthcare systems, boost economic resilience, and move the continent closer to a malaria-free future. Finally, in sports, the Nigeria Olympic Committee has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for transformative leadership in the country's sports sector. In a statement on the 16th of February, NOC President Engineer Habu Ahmed Gumel highlighted Tinubu's proactive approach, timely funding, and strategic appointments as catalysts for rapid progress and record-breaking results. Gumel singled out the leadership of Malam Shehu Diko as chairman and Honorable Bukola Olapade as Director General of the National Sports Commission, noting their focus on innovation in driving sports administration reforms. The committee said these changes have already contributed to improved performance at international competitions and enhanced talent development nationwide. Under the current administration, Nigeria has reportedly earned 373 medals in global competitions, attracted 50 billion naira in private sector investment, and created over 140,000 jobs in the sports value chain. The NOC said the reforms are positioning sports as a key economic pillar and laying the foundation for a sustainable, globally competitive sports economy. Still in sport news, Iran is with Nigeria over a possible international friendly in March as preparations intensify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. According to reports from Tehran, the Football Federation of Iran is finalizing pre-tournament fixtures and has opened negotiations with the Nigerian national football team and Costa Rica for warm-up matches. Iran has already been drawn into Group G of the tournament. For Nigeria, however, any match fixtures depends on an impending decision from FIFA regarding the country's eligibility protest against the Republic of Congo. The Nigeria Football Federation filed a complaint in December alleging that 6 Congolese players who featured in the African playoff final were ineligible following challenges or changes in international allegiance. If FIFA rules in Nigeria's favor, the Super Eagles would advance to a 6-nation intercontinental playoff in Mexico in March, leaving little room for friendlies. A decision against Nigeria would free up the calendar and potentially clear the way for the proposed clash with Iran, as both sides step up preparations for the global tournament. And that's all we have for you on our TV News Update. But before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. We brought to you news that Nigeria commits full support to Gulf of Guinea Maritime Task Force. You also saw that Tunisia launches 192 digital project to modernize public services. Nigeria enforces internet code to protect users and open access. Mozambique begins drafting national digital transformation strategy. And away from Africa, French police raid Arab World Institute as Epstein investigation expands. Still away from Africa, India seizes 3 Iran-linked sanctioned tanker and intensifies maritime patrols. In business, UBA launches Diaspora platform to connect Africans globally with investment opportunities. And in health, African leaders rally new malaria funding at AU summit. Finally, in sports, Nigeria Olympic Committee praises Tinubu's vision for sport, and Iran in talks with Nigeria over World Cup warm-up friendly. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for watching.